Hello. So, can you guys hear me now? I'm hoping that this work. I'm doing something different and something that I'm trying to make sure that I have it up and going before the hearing starts. And so if you guys can see this, let me know, please. I'd appreciate it. And so um I believe I'm up and going. And so what I'll do is I'm going to check here. If you guys can see this, hear this, let me know. Got multiple screens open, and this is, definitely something I don't normally do this way. And so I'm hoping it's working the way I need it to work. And so if you guys can see this, looks like we're good to go. How's the sound? Can you guys let me know how's the sound? And I will let you guys kind of file in here. We're waiting for the hearing to start. It's going to start in just a few minutes. And, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I want to know, kind of where we're at, what we're looking at. And so, this is kind of the next step of this. I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. And if you guys can hear this, please let me know. I'm trying to refresh things and okay, we got sound. So the only thing I'm concerned about here with this is because I have my earpods on because I want to be able to listen to what's happening inside the trial. So if there is an issue as soon as this thing starts, please let me know so I can disconnect and I'll try something different. And so this is the screen that I'm broadcasting right now. This is where I believe the hearing is going to be, and so I'm basically just waiting for this to start. And so once it starts, we'll be able to kind of to watch together and kind of talk about things. And obviously everybody that's checking in, let's say a quick prayer for our attorney Tony Aiello. He's there, he's ready to go. We got 5 minutes until this is supposed to start, and so I appreciate you guys tuning in. And this is just the next step of this saga. And I'm hoping that we get the ruling that we need, but we have to be aware, just be prepared, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. There's three judges. It's going to be a three-judge panel. And so these people, it looks like we're getting ready to start right now. So the video is muted. So if you guys, I can hear it, can you guys hear it? Please let me know. uh, can you hear the audio from the video? No video sounds. Okay, so let me try this. And let's see, can you guys hear anything yet? And if we don't hear anything, I don't know what to do at that point. And so we just kind of gotta see what happens. And I'm hoping that this lets me do what I needed to do. And so let me look at my settings real quick. And audio. Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear that, please? Let me know. Could you hear that? um Did my microphone pick up the speakers? So I'm just trying doing different things. And if it doesn't work, then I guess what I'll have to do is just kind of watch this thing and see what happens, negative. So there's nothing coming out of the video yet. So it's just basically me talking at this point. So I'm trying to keep people entertained until this thing gets going and I can kind of tweak. Well, I can't help you there, Randy, sorry. So, I'm gonna do my best here, and what I'm trying to do is basically broadcast the stream here, and hopefully it'll help, we'll be able to see everything, so and what I'm doing is I'm sharing my screen, so in theory, if I did this correctly, and I'm not an expert, I don't play an attorney on Facebook. I only play an attorney on Facebook, and I'm also a sound guy, on Facebook only. So I'm definitely there's people that are probably better at this, but I'm just the best that you have right now. So I apologize. And so what I'm hoping is when this thing fires up, is what I'll do is since I'm sharing the screen, it'll be able to broadcast to you. That's my hope. And we'll just have to figure that out and hopefully go from there. This is going to be Scott, I'm working on that. So let me put a link to the hearing. Give me 1 second. That's a great point. Um, oh, man. Give me 1 second. This is not going the way I wanted it to go. I'll get you the link right now, and then that way, if I have an issue, you guys can watch it independently, and we'll go from there. And so, give me 1 second. So there is the hearing. So there's the link for the hearing. If you guys, it's posting, and so all you're going to do is you're going to click on that. It's going to open up. You're going to go to the appellant court, and so there you're going to be watching basically what I'm watching, and I'm hoping that if I have issues with the sound, you guys can still catch it. I'll catch it here. I'm going to be taking notes, and we're trying to give as much support as we can, to Tony and the people that are there. And so if you guys are just tuning in, thank you guys for joining us. It is Tuesday. We're, waiting for the appellate court to start, and that's on, this is for measure 114. So this is where we figure out, what our fate is. And so there's going to be a three panel judge, and basically what they're going to be reviewing is basically how sound the decision was out of Harney County. And so that's kind of what they're weighing. Is this, did Judge Ratio be of sound mind, make the right decision when he made his ruling that measure 114 was unconstitutional? And so this is just a checkpoint for us. And, once we get through to the checkpoint, this will kind of let us know what this next step is going to be. Couple of options for us here is, obviously they can remand it back to Judge Ratio for review after they make their finding. They could also, they can, basically, you know, rule against him. At that point, if we would lose, it would go to the Oregon State Supreme Court. That is, if the Oregon State Supreme Court would agree to hear this about this bill and whether it's constitutional or not. So, being as high profile as it is, there's a really good chance that this thing would be, ruled upon, and so they would most likely take this up. And if I was a betting man, that's what I'd be betting. And so, just something to think about there. So, Thank you guys for tuning in. And, obviously there's no sounds yet. I'm waiting for this thing to start and then we'll kind of figure out, what we're going to do. If it works, it works. If not, then I'll have to figure out the best way to get you guys the information. And it might be me kind of logging off, you know, gathering my thoughts, taking notes and kind of putting it back together for you guys after the hearing is done. The hearing's not going to last very long. It may be an hour in total, and so I appreciate you guys joining us and in showing support for Tony. And this is a big deal for us. And there's a lot of people that have been wondering where we're at on Measure 114, and this is definitely the next chapter in this saga. And so we're hoping that it just keeps going the way we need it to go. Looks like things are frozen. So my goodness gracious. So can you guys hear that? Mm. Dang it. So I apologize for this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log off here. I'm gonna take notes, and I know you guys can hear me, but I want you guys to hear what's happening. So, actually, Yeah. No, there was a repeater. Damn it, guys! I'm sorry that you guys can hear. Come on, Tony, let's do it. Come on, man. That has nothing to do with anything. Okay. So, um, how we doing? So I apologize. I thought I tried everything that I could to make sure that I had everything set up for you guys. And so if I'm not sure if everybody caught that, and if you didn't, I apologize. I was trying to give you everything, firsthand, and so that's give me this thing. Okay, so and Jeremy. I'm sorry I couldn't make everybody happy. I'm trying to juggle all these different balls and keep them in the air, and so and I'm sorry. My initial thoughts, and I don't know how you want me to handle this. I know people's time is precious. My time is precious and valuable. I don't know what's going to be the best use of our time here. Do you want me to, kind of put my initial thoughts together here right now since we're already here? What do you guys want to do? And let me know. I feel I feel that they had some good questions. I feel that the judge, especially the one, Hellman, I feel that she had some good questions to not show her bias. I feel it's tricky. I feel like if I'm reading the room, reading the judge, I feel that all three of them are biased, right? And so I feel that they are going through the motions. They already have their opinion made up. I feel that this might not have been a winner for us, and this is just me speaking. I'm not speaking for Tony. I not represent. This is just me, my initial thoughts from seeing what I saw, and for some reason there was a lag. I missed part of the opening part, so I'm gonna go back and watch it again because it'll be recorded, and so I'll have a better idea of the state's argument is complete garbage always because emotional, like you're going to talk about 1859, and we're supposed to the only arms that were there and should not be regulated are muskets or repeating arms from that day. Then we should not be talking about what happened in Las Vegas. We should be not talking about what happened at Sandy Hook. That is an emotional based argument and does not have bearing on this case. Okay. So this is what's driven me crazy since the very beginning of this is Mai's been following this and driving all over the place and following this stuff is the way the state of Oregon is interjecting the emotional argument as a way to score points when we're looking at the scales of justice, right? They're supposed to be blind. Okay. So that means this argument should be based on fact and merit of the law and the way it's written and the way it has downstream complications, which I believe Tony did a tremendous job. Okay, tremendous job. You know, making his points. He talked about undue stress. It also what he talked about, which I thought was very powerful, is the way the state of Oregon has rammed this thing through. They put undue stress on us being able to exercise our law, but also in a way for us to not have any due process rights. And so I love the way that he was able to weave that in there. And there's no actual way, like, and all of us, and they're lumping us all in with criminals, right? So if we own a gun, so now we are complicit with what's happening in Portland or what's happening in Eugene or what's happening in Salem. That's not why we have arms. And so looks like we have another case coming up. I'm gonna kind of monitor this stuff, and I'm gonna let's go back to this. Um, okay, I'm gonna go back here, go comments. Oh man, so I apologize for issues that I'm having with the tech, and so I will figure that out, like, because this is going to be recorded, and so I will figure out, what is happening there, and I'll keep you guys posted. So I believe that Tony. I know Tony was nervous. I know Tony was concerned about getting caught up on his words and how it was going to affect this. I think he did a tremendous job. And one thing that I will tell him is the fact that he didn't stumble, he stayed in the pocket and made sure that he presented the evidence in a way, even off the cuff, and so I feel in that regard, we that was successful. And so, I'm not gonna, this was out of our hands, right? So this is our guy did what he was going to do and what he was supposed to do, and so that's where I feel that that was a win. And they kept talking about the public safety and the way large, they call them large capacity magazines. I hate that term. It's such a garbage term because it's standard capacity. I go to a gun store. And what I loved about what Tony did is he brought up the fact that we already have a background check at a federal level. And then she countered with the Charleston loophole, okay, which I'm glad that he was able to interject there, and that's what was helpful there. I'm gonna turn my gain down. What I was trying to do is I had my microphone at my speaker on my computer spun around because I was trying to give you guys what I was seeing. That way we could watch this together. And I apologize that it didn't work out the way I was hoping. There's no way for me to really test this until it goes live. And I tried my best. I'm sorry. And so I appreciate you guys do that. The ones that did tune in. And so, I feel like they were going through the motions. I feel that the judge definitely, like, it's gonna be a tall task here. And when we talk about facial challenges and and all sorts of different things, yeah, I agree. Tony did an amazing job, and he is the hero today. So you know and so there was a couple, they talk about the de novo review. That's a way that the court analyzes evidence and presents it as part of the record. And so this is a facial challenge. So basically a facial challenge is a challenge on the facts as they were related to measure 114 that came out of the trial back in September of last year out of Harney County. And so that's, there's as an applied challenge, which is another legal term, which is another way that they look at the way the evidence is presented and ruled. And so that's kind of the difference between the two. This is a facial challenge, so we're basically arguing this case on the merits of the evidence that's been presented. The state of Oregon, what they were trying to do was they were trying to discredit the fact that this was a trial judge, right? And this was in circuit court or district, that's circuit court. Um, and so what they're trying to do is basically say this guy doesn't have the authority to make this determination. So they're basically trying to discredit that judge. And that's why they're at the appeals court. They're hoping that the appeals court will, use their emotional based argument to see it their way and then rule against all of us. Okay. What I do think that Tony did a really good job is laying out the way that the process is not ready. They do not have a way for us to not have our rights being violated. And so I think one thing that it's always hindsight's 2020, right? And I'm not an attorney, And I play one here for you guys, but just like this opens the state up for further lawsuits and litigation. Okay. So the moment that if this thing goes into effect, this is hypothetical, right? This is not this is not going to happen, but I'm saying hypothetically, if this thing goes into effect, every single one of us in the state of Oregon would have our rights denied because there's an indefinite time that Oregon State Police or whoever's doing the background checks would have to determine whether or not we're able to have a permit to purchase to go buy a gun. So that's something to think about. So now the state of Oregon is now like there's what 1.2 to 2 million gun owners. So no, now all of us have standing. Like this is all hypothetical, right? I know we hate lawsuits. We don't want to fund lawsuits, but to collectively, all of us now would have standing to sue the state again, right? And do a class action lawsuit, because the sheer point that our right is being delayed, so our right is now being denied. There's precedents all over the state, all over the country that would support that. They kept talking about what, and I love the way that Tony brought it up. Okay, they talked about self-defense, lawful self-defense, but one thing they forgot to mention about Article 1, Section 27 of the Oregon Constitution, as citizens of Oregon, we have a duty to defend the state as well. Okay, so that's the one thing that they didn't want to talk about. They want to talk about self-defense, but that's all well and dandy, but we still have a duty to protect the state. And it says that in Article 1, Section 27 of the Oregon Constitution. So that's another point where they want to forget about that. They want to limit that. And so, that's where, we like, that's more reason for us to be in this position and be victorious. And, but, at the end of the day, it's out of our hands. We fought a good fight, and so now we just wait. And I look forward to hearing from Tony, and I wish I had better. I'll get it for him and make sure that he has all the information that he needs to, because he did a good job. You know, whether this was a rough a road to hoe. And so I guess I think what's the most offensive part for me was the fact that you and I were lumped in with people that are killing people. We were lumped in with, and we cannot be trusted with our own lawful right to self-defense because of the effects of not prosecuting, not have enough law enforcement, radical DAs not doing their job and locking people up. And so typically that stuff is a deterrent for people that commit crimes, right? So when there's no deterrent, that's when they go raise crazy and do what they're doing. The problem is they just lumped every one of us in with those people. And did you hear her? You probably didn't hear it, but there was a comment like those people, and then the judge responded, "I don't like that term, those people," which I totally understand, but in the context of what they were talking about, her opinion really did not matter. And this is all part of the record now. Is her saying that? Yeah, I don't know. It's a mess. We all work very, very hard to protect ourselves, to protect our families, protect the public, and to be treated like we are second class citizens because we are not trusted with the ability to defend ourselves or others. It's offensive, and we have a right to lawful self-defense. A number in a magazine that's an arbitrary number. It's being challenged all over the country, California, Illinois, and so this is something that, it's gross. So, I don't know how much more we wanna go with this. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm sorry that it didn't work out the way I hoped it. Well, so Jeff, this is a great comment right here. So, we're talking they only wanted to talk about stuff that related to the state when it pertained to rifles back in 1859, okay? So that is the hypocrisy here is if we're looking at this on a facial challenge and we're talking about the facts, and the facts are in 1859, there's probably a limited amount of firearms that were repeaters that had a limited a magazine capacity over the 10 rounds, okay? And and so that's and they want to stick to that, they shouldn't be able to interject the emotional argument. And that's where I'm really irritated and upset about is the fact that this is the dog and pony shows. We don't have the facts on our side. We don't have the data that's going to support our position. So we're going to start talking about kids. We're going to start talking about, I mean, it's gross. Okay. And that's a way to justify this further overreach. That's what it is. And we're talking about technology. How come these guys are we're talking about arms from 1859? Why aren't they communicating in their briefs via paper and quill? Like if you're if you're gonna say, you know, why are you using your iPad or your iPhone to do research or communicate when you and I are they're holding all of us to a different standard is our rights are stuck back in 1859, yet they get to do whatever they want to do. And so, you know, that's the I'm so frustrated by that. And, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, he did well. So, so typically the way this would work, this is a good question. So typically, and this is why another reason why it's so important that we vote, okay? Because it would take a super majority, okay? So that means 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate to modify the Oregon State Constitution, okay? When I talked to Floyd Prozansky, he's my senator, right? And when I brought up the fact that he's in violation of the Oregon State Constitution, Oregon Article 1, Section 27, it says that I have the right to defend myself and also the state. He was not aware of that, and he's one of them. He's my senator, right? So, you know, if we don't vote, they get the super majority. They have the governor. They have if they get both houses, right, and they have a super majority, which is 2/3, okay, of majority on both sides of the chamber, then they can modify the Oregon State Constitution, okay? They are close. They get closer starting next Wednesday if we don't show up and vote, okay? So that's where something to think about. That's how they can modify the Oregon State Constitution, okay? The likelihood of them doing that because of the sheer backlash that they would get, I don't know. But these people are radical, you know, they and the thing is it's gonna be outside money that's going to influence that. It's gonna be Bloomberg, it's gonna be Mom's Demand, it's gonna be every town that's gonna put this money into the state of Oregon that's going to put them in a position where they would see that as a good idea to modify our Oregon State Constitution, and that's the sad part. So, so frustrating. So I think we're done, and I just wanted to get on here and make sure that you guys, you know, saw I'm sorry that it didn't play the way I anticipated, and, like, I feel bad for that because I feel that you guys gave up an hour like I gave up an hour, and, um, but it was important to show important to show solidarity, and so I'll figure out the sound part, and we'll kinda go from there. If I can turn it up, I'll turn it up because I was playing it the whole time, and so I'll just see if I can get it into my mixing, and I'll do is I'll create a new video where I can boost the sound level, and maybe that will help you, and then we can kind of figure out what it looks like, so but I'm gonna wrap this up so I can get back to work, you guys can get back to work, but that being said, you know, I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in, just, make sure, we gotta be aware, it's gonna cost money. I know nobody wants to hear it, but it costs money to fight this stuff, so we need to make sure 5, 10, 20, $30, if we can do that, that's gonna help them. You know, we lose through attrition. We lose when we run out of support for this fight in Measure 114. Guess what? The big organizations, they're not here. They're not helping us, okay? GOA has already pulled out of this, okay? They pulled out of this. They have no party of this case, okay? We are on our own. We get a little bit of support from OFF, we get a little bit of support from the SAF, but I don't know where we're going with that, okay? And so that's where it's really important that, you know, we win together or we're gonna lose together, and that's where I'm at, and so, you know, that's, you know, kind of the thing. You know, I hope you guys I appreciate you, Phil, and I'm glad I have you here. I really respect you, and I look up to you, and I'm glad to, you know, work closely with you, and so, um, that's all I got, and as soon as I hear more, I'll let you guys know. I'm gonna do some research on some of the cases that they cited, and I'll try to put them in the group, so you guys can kinda see, because some people, like, kinda nerd out on the case law. I like to read the case law, and so, you know, that way I can kinda understand what goes into making these decisions, and that helps me get better at the job that I'm trying to do here with you guys, and, you know, just know, you know, we're getting ready to spin the legislature back up, and, you know, we gotta vote. You know, we gotta show up and vote, but the legislature, they're gonna spin up pretty soon, and, you know, we're in for a long session this year, and so this could be a long year for us if we don't get involved, and so what they could do is they could definitely, you know, they could everything that we're arguing about, they could just throw it out, and they could just bring it through the legislature, and then we would have to, you know, have another fight, and so that's all I got. So I hope you guys have a good day. Let's keep in touch, and I'll reach out to Tony and kinda pick his brain and see how he's feeling, and I feel that he did really, really good, so let's make sure that we send him happy thoughts and a big thank you for the work that he did on our behalf, and so, you know, it is what it is, you know, and we'll figure out what we do next, you know, so I'm gonna get off here. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.